What's going on, guys? This is your boy Mace from Self-Made Athletes, and I've got a very special episode today. At the very start of the year, I decided I want to take both my health and my nutrition a little bit more seriously by learning how to optimize my body to its fullest potential. While I was in the midst of trying to figure out how I was going to do that, a friend actually reached out to me and asked if I've ever used genetic testing for nutrigenomics. And I was like, huh? What? That might be a question that you guys might be asking. And to be honest, I had no idea what he was talking about. But since I was curious about learning more about my body, I was really interested in learning more from him. Turns out my friend Mac was actually just asking if I'd be interested in using DNA testing to learn a little bit more about how I could effectively do my workouts and have a better diet. And call me old school, but I've always imagined doing a DNA test where you have to go into the hospital and you get strapped into a bed while the doctor does some crazy scientific tests on you.
That wasn't so bad.
That was penicillin.
But that's not the case anymore. DNA tests are super accessible, they're relatively affordable, and you can do them within minutes in the comfort of your own home. So today, I'll be reviewing Circle's Diet Fitness Pro 360. And right before we get into the swing of things, I just wanted to let you guys know that I did do my DNA test at the beginning of this year. Recently, Circle came out with a new line of test kits, and I believe the test kit that I'm reviewing today is now known as Vital. Nonetheless, I do want to share my experiences, results, and effectiveness of using these DNA test kits to lead a healthier lifestyle with you guys. So whether it's pertaining to optimizing your workouts or eating more healthy, that's what I'll be doing today. So let's go. Boom! Pretty nice clean packaging we've got here. This is the Diet Fitness Pro 360. Yeah, it's both in English and Chinese. It's got a few graphics. It tells you what the product is all about. So let's open this little guy up here. Very nice, very clean. You know, hi, welcome to your DNA. And if we open this up, we actually get some postcards, some instructions, a welcome pack, both in English and in Chinese. And if we open this up a little bit further, you'll get a swab sample and a return kit for you to return your packaging in. Very, very clean, nice packaging, and I'm really excited to go through this process with you guys. So let's go. The entire sample collection process is really easy and pretty much effortless. You just need to follow 3 simple steps: swab, seal, and send. That's it. Pretty simple, right? All you need to do is take the collection tube out of the packaging and make sure you have clean hands. But there's a little bit of infographics here just for you to go through. So once you've taken the collection sample out of the packaging, make sure you don't touch the cotton head. What you're gonna do is you're gonna swab the insides of both your cheeks about 10 times, up and down, back and forth, and you wanna get the top of both the gum areas and maybe even under your tongue. And while you're doing that, hold the tube upright where the stabilizer fluid, this purple fluid here, sets at the bottom, okay? Then you're gonna do is put the cotton head back into the tube, shake it about, make sure that the whole cotton head is covered with that purple stabilizing liquid, and that's it. Place the sample collection back into the specimen bag, and all you need to do is follow the instructions to schedule a courier pickup, and off it goes to the labs. You should expect your results in about 10 to 15 business days, give or take, and you'll get email notifications on any of the updates that happens throughout the progress. You're gonna be getting insights on 2 types of reports, one for diet and nutrition, and the other one for sports and fitness. Just to keep in mind, guys, with the newer kit Vital, it will offer additional lifestyle features and further reports to give you more in-depth insights. What I really like about this kit by Circle is that it unravels a bunch of information about your genes. Actually, more than you'll be able to wrap your mind around, trust me. But they do present it in a very simple, yet very beautiful and elegant illustrated infographic. This is mine. I actually laminated it, but this is kind of the report that you're gonna get, and it just made my job really easy to understand how my DNA affects how I exercise and what nutritional changes are needed in order to optimize my body. And if you want to be all scientific and get into all the nitty-gritty stuff, Circle provides all of the gene details in your personal portal for a scientific breakdown and explanation for each and every single gene. With all this information at hand, let's dive right in and take a quick look at some of the comprehensive data that Circle actually provides in its infographic. So here at the bottom, we have the nutritional needs and type of sensitivities that I should be aware of specific to my diet. Here it states that low carb diet would be the best for me, and I'm just gonna break down the sensitivities to go through that. Firstly, I've got a high carbohydrate sensitivity level, which means that refined carbs are easily absorbed into my system, and that leaves me with large swings of glucose levels. And that affects me based off of my energy level, my ability to control my weight, so on and so forth. Having said all that and keeping them in mind, I try to limit my refined carb intake. Things like rice, bread, cereals. All of these have refined wheats in it, and I don't completely avoid them unless I'm on my clean cycle. However, I do try to limit my intake. All right, moving on to the second piece. I'm very lucky to have a low saturated fat sensitivity. This doesn't actually mean that I'm gonna go on a hunt for food items with high levels of saturated fat, because I do know that in the long run, it is associated with health issues, and I don't want that to catch up with me in my old age. But now that I'm aware of this, I'll be a little bit more open to and flexible to having foods that have slightly higher saturated fats. So I guess I kind of was able to figure this one out on my own, because every time I had a glass of whole milk, I had an upset stomach straight up. So I figured I was lactose intolerant. And for those of you who want to know a little bit more, lactose is a sugar that is found in milk and dairy products that is digested by enzymes called lactase in the small intestine. And these enzymes generally decrease significantly as we get older, but it's linked to your lactase gene variant. And when you have a lot less of them, but you eat dairy products with lactose in it, you might feel a little bit bloated, stomach discomfort, gassiness, or in some worse scenarios, even diarrhea. Next, we have the colic predisposition, and this is also known as a gluten sensitivity. I was rated low for this, and what that really means is that I won't have a reaction when I consume gluten products. And gluten is a protein found in grains like wheat, barley, and rye. And if you find yourself with high sensitivity to gluten, please be careful when you pick out food items that are marketed gluten-free. Typically, these food items are substituted with high caloric ingredients such as fat, sugars, and maybe even starch. And what that does is it helps hold the food's shape, and it also preserves its taste. So you can see why there might be a little bit of a misconception. If you don't have gluten intolerance conditions, your diet won't be affected whether you eat something with gluten in it or not. So don't just go for the diet fad of just because and follow what your body is telling you. I've got a normal alcoholic sensitivity rating, which basically means that with moderate consumption, I should be able to control my balance between both the good and the bad consequences of drinking. Unfortunately, I wasn't completely blessed. I still can't avoid getting major Asian flush when I drink, but that's a completely different story. I've got a fast sensitivity to caffeine, and basically what this means is that when I consume caffeine from things like coffee or energy drinks or sometimes pre-workout supplements, I need to be wary of how much excess amount of caffeine I should be drinking, or else this could cause me anxiety, insomnia, headaches, or maybe even an upset stomach. Salt sensitivity. Salt is the combination between sodium and chloride, and most of us know that when we eat too much salt or things that are really salty, it'll lead to health concerns such as high blood pressure. but having too little salt or sodium may also cause issues. When you have abnormally low amounts of sodium in your blood when you have too much water, it actually might lead to something called hypnatremia, which can include lethargic emotions, so feeling tired or lack of energy, lack of focus. And that doesn't mean go eating as much salty items as possible. It just means that you need to know how to balance everything out. Next up, we have the antioxidant levels. I definitely need to raise this. Antioxidants are substances that protect your cells against the effects of free radicals, which are produced naturally when your body breaks down foods that you've just consumed. It can also be produced when your body is exposed to things like tobacco or smoke and even radiation. You can find high levels of antioxidants in fresh foods such as vegetables and fruits that are high in vitamins such as vitamin A, C, and or E. Combining the next three results, omega-3, vitamin B, and vitamin D. I do take my supplements daily, but just to break them down, omega-3 is essential fatty acids to keep our bodies functioning normally, especially the cardiovascular system. For vitamin B, this deals with your nervous system, your digestion, and red blood cells. And finally, for vitamin D, that helps regulate our blood levels based on calcium, and it also helps strengthens our bone structure. For those of you who eat your greens every single day, every single meal, please give yourself a strong pat on the back. I definitely need to put my numbers up there for the cruciferous greens. From my report, obviously, I do need to increase my intake. And this is the family of the vegetable group that helps protect against cancer and removal of toxins in your body. They're named after their cross-shaped flowers. So veggies like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, kale. All of these are great cruciferous vegetables that I should be more aware of. Lastly, we have the detoxification ability, and this metric basically shows my body's ability to detox from certain chemicals that are formed when we cook meat at high temperatures. And usually those chemicals are not naturally present when those meats are uncooked. I'm blessed to say that my body responds pretty well to fast detoxifications, but if you're opposite to me, maybe try avoiding things like deep fried foods or barbecue foods, which generally has a lot of these kind of chemicals released. Gaining these insights have really allowed me to optimize my diet because I'm more aware of what I need to be conscious of when I'm trying to make healthier decisions, especially when I eat out. And I've always known that a low carb diet would potentially help me lose weight, but now I know for certain what areas I should look out for, since I know that my body is highly sensitive to carbs. I'll try to avoid or at least limit my carb intake when I'm ordering food. And it's important to note that you can get carbs just by eating greens, things like salads and veggies. You will still get minimal carbohydrates from them. And since I need to raise my cruciferous veggie intake, I'd rather just get an extra portion of broccoli or cauliflower while skipping out on getting extra rice. Having said that, for those of you who know me, you know that I'm a huge advocate of flexible dieting. I do simple clean cycles throughout the year from time to time, maybe about 3-4 times a year. But for most of the time, I don't restrict my diet. And I've written a small piece on this on my blog, so check out the link below to take a quick read on my flexible dieting plans. All right, so moving right along, we're gonna check out my fitness results. And this can be found on the top half of the report. Here, this is the sports and fitness section where 4 major areas are covered. So first of all, we've got my body's response type to different trainings. We've got the VO2 max response rate, my recovery speed rate, and how prone to injury is my body. We can see here that I should split my training time 75% with power, which is resistance training, and 25% on cardiovascular activities to help my endurance. So things like running, jogging, playing a sport. And I've always thought that, lifting weights would get me in a tip-top shape, but now that I think back in retrospect, neglecting any form of cardiovascular activity is definitely not beneficial at all. And earlier on this year, I've tried multiple things like HIIT, boot camp sessions, and I'm still doing those right now, and they absolutely work wonders. The combination of resistance training with cardio really helps me balance both my power and endurance training. Once again, check out my blog in the links below for some of those activities that I've been trying out. Next, we've got the VO2 max. So the VO2 max is basically a measure of how we utilize oxygen during our training exercises. My report indicates that I'm sitting at a medium, which means that there is quite a lot of room for improvement. And the reason why I say this is because when we work out, the harder we work out, the more oxygen we will consume in order to produce energy. And when I do a very hard or difficult exercise where I can't use any more oxygen, I know I've reached my max point. But based on this report, my max point is only sitting at a medium. So I've been finding multiple different ways to increase my max point to a higher level so that I have better endurance performance during my trainings. All right, so the last 2 points are both crucial and critical knowledge pieces for both the pre and post workouts. Recovery speed is pretty self-explanatory. It basically means how long it usually takes for me to recover after my workout so I can move on to the next one. And this is a great leading point onto the next one, where it basically talks about my body's tolerance to injury. How quickly and how easily is it for my body to get injured? And knowing these 2 points gives me the power to consider how I should actually maximize my body's mobility. And this basically just translates into how much time I should give up in warming up and winding down before and after each gym session. Now, given that I am a medium in recovery speed and high level to risk and injury, I now spend at least 5 to 10 minutes warming up before starting any of my trainings. And I know that it sounds tedious, it sounds boring. Some people is gonna argue that it's a waste of time, but you need to think about it long term, right? You need to think of what will get you the most results in the long run. Yes, jumping straight into your workout to chase a pump might get you a quick, short, and temporary gain where you'd be flexing for the gram. But what if you get injured, right? You're gonna have to stay out of the gym for at least a week, maybe, to fully recover. Whereas what I've learned is if you spend at least 5 to 10 minutes just warming up before you work out, the chances of you getting injured throughout that workout is a lot lower, and I think that's definitely worth it. Now, it doesn't mean that you won't get injured at all. If you've got bad form, you've got previous injuries that haven't fully recovered yet, you're pushing your limits at the gym, chances are you might get hurt, but the chances will be reduced if you give your muscles a quick stretch before and after. That's my quick tip. Whew! That was a lot of useful information, and to be totally honest with you guys, it can be quite overwhelming. So what I like to do is I'd like to digest all this information in bits and pieces based on fitness goals that I set for myself throughout the year. Whether it's directly related to my exercises or my diet, I use this information as a guideline to help me throughout my journey. And I usually set goals for a week, a month, 3 months, and then the whole year, the grand picture and the whole scheme of things. I love how easy Circle makes the whole process. The price is pretty affordable, and for those of you in Hong Kong, there's a new partnership between Circle and Watsons, so it's very convenient, super easy to get your hands on one of these kits. Obviously not this one, they will be stocking up the new ones, which is vital. But what's great about it is this kit provides a hell of a lot of information for you guys, things that you may or may not have known beforehand, and what's the harm of knowing more about your health, right? I personally use all this information as a benchmark and a guide to help me make day-to-day decisions based on my diet and my exercise. I don't use it as a strict golden rule to life. Just remember, knowledge is not power without action. And that's when it really becomes transformational. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. That's all I have for you. See you on the next one. This is your boy Mace signing off for now. Peace.